Welcome to Lions Nation Unite. I am Eazy, and today we will be discussing Dan Campbell knees. Dan Campbell knees? Dan Campbell's knees might be biting him off. Who knows? But first and foremost, I need you guys to do me the biggest favor in the world. If you think this one I can actually I'm kind of serious about this one. I think I'm the best smelling person on this channel. Smash that like button, be a friend, tell a friend, and share this video. Today we'll be breaking down Dan Campbell's press conference as he opened up uh, before OTAs today, and just kind of get a little bit at Dan Campbell knees. Like, what is he really saying? Dan Campbell knees just sounds weird to me, but here we go. Either way,
schedule we have this year because this is the type of schedule that builds you for the postseason. Like man, with those type of
this
things.
is actually
And
good stuff.
trying to be
He's talking about the
smart.
schedule right now.
We're just trying to be smart. We got a little dings here and there, and so
If you guys missed it, basically, he's went over the names that aren't going to be active in OTAs that day. It's OTAs. I don't care. To be honest with you, I am not going to concern myself with that list of names until training camp. But Tyler Williams, rookie, was on there. Levi Zari. I mean, there's tons of guys. He went over them super fast. Matter of fact, he even put Calvin Johnson, Barry Sanders, and Chris Spielman on the list because that's how non-serious it is at this point in the offseason programs. Like this OTAs don't care. But here he is after this. He's going to finish with this and talk about the schedule the Detroit Lions have coming up.
we're just trying to make sure everybody's good. So this is a time of year to make sure that we're being a little more conservative with those type of things. And they're here, they're in meetings, and so everybody's locked in. And we're excited. The message is the same as it's always been, man. There's no room for complacency. So we're not going to deal with entitlement and complacency. Our team's not. And, I love the schedule we have this year because this is the type of schedule that builds you for the postseason. Like, man, you better be on it. And we're going to get tested early and often and all year long. And it's freaking awesome. It's really how you want it. So, um,
Real quick, that's exactly how I feel about this schedule. I know a lot of people are freaking out, and yeah, it's obviously not fun to see your team take its lumps as we will throughout this season. But I want that. Give me that adversity. Give me those type of teams week in and week out, have them at different time slots because that's what's going to happen throughout the playoffs. You're going to be facing those caliber of teams week in, week out. One game may be at 4, the other game may be prime time. It's just going to be a little bit different every single week. And now this Lions team hasn't gotten a taste of that, but let's be real about it. This coaching staff in their current positions hasn't got the taste of that at all either. And that's something Dan Campbell's going to talk about throughout this presser as well. I think at like the 10-minute mark, he's going to that. But the biggest thing for the Detroit Lions this year, if I haven't said on this channel already, then here it is for you right now. We need to get to the playoffs healthy. We went 15-2 last year. It meant absolutely nothing because we weren't there healthy. It meant nothing. I'll be fine with being a wild card team if that's what it comes down to. I don't think that'll be the case. I think we're going to win the division. We'll have at least one home game, but just get to the playoffs healthy, man. And again, I love the fact that we're going to be tested by great coaches, great players, week in and week out. It's one of the reasons when we got the KC game a couple years back, I was pumped. I said, this is exactly what we need. Like a big time game to keep you on your ass, on your stuff all throughout the off season as you grind your way through. Because you're how about this? This is really random, really weird way to put this, but let's say I put you on a fight schedule. Every week you had to fight somebody different in your life. Week 1 was your kid. If you don't have kids, week 1 was a kid 12-year-old kid. You're not really worried about that 12-year-old punk kid. You're kind of doing what you got to do. But if I told you week 1, you're facing Brock Lesnar, okay, the entire way leading up to that, you're going to be busting your ass to make sure your ass isn't getting kicked. And so that's why I love having that type of game in week 1. Now, I know the Packers may not necessarily be that for the Detroit Lions, but it is a divisional game. And think back to how dramatic that final game against the Packers was last year at home, prime time. You had Kirby and Tucker Kraft beefing chirping before the game. You had the fact that we had all those injuries, the play call it took to seal the deal, the interception. I mean, it was up there. It was an intense game, and I think the Packers. I know their fans think this way. They're very arrogant. One of the most arrogant fan bases I've ever come across in this profession. But I think that's one you can look forward to, and it's a divisional game, so I like that. But if that doesn't do it for you, the fact that you got the Bears and then a Ravens, I mean, like it just doesn't stop. So although we didn't get that game one to keep you in tune, you did get a tough schedule that I believe is also going to keep you in tune because this is just you're just not going to get any breaks with this schedule at all. Outside of maybe the New York Giants, I think we play the Browns too.
We'll be ready to go when the time's right. Questions?
Schedule that you guys are doing right now, because I think we all get it, right? You got the Hall of Fame game, and your coaches have been working for a long time, so we all understand it. But what, if any, debate did you have in your head about cutting off that mini camp for the extra week of OTA?
Yeah, there was a
This one I don't really care too much about. I'm probably going to skip over a little bit. You're just talking about ending OTAs a little bit early because Dan Campbell's a player's coach, former player himself. OTA started a week sooner this year, and he felt like his players kind of got ripped off with the time. I could play it if you want. I'll put it in a little fast forward though.
fine line, went back and forth. And I just felt like, here's the thing. It was kind of a little unique. It was a double whammy. For whatever reason, the league year started 1 year later than it normally does. And then we have the Hall of Fame game. So the combination of those, you bleed off season into this, and then you bring them back a week early. It just didn't feel right. I didn't feel like it was fair to our players. So to me, it's like, look, we're going to cut this 3 days short so that you come in 3 days early. That's how we're handling it. And so, we really didn't lose any time. It just means that we got to be on it in training camp, and we got to get a lot of guys ready to play quickly in a Hall of Fame game, and make sure their bodies are ready to go for an early game, because there's going to be a lot of young guys who are going to play a number of reps in that game. And we'll get them right. We'll get them ready. We do. The plan is to go with Miami a couple of days, and then we'll go with Houston that last week for a day.
That's something I like. If you guys didn't catch that in news that we maybe not have delivered to you yet, is Detroit Lions will be doing joint practices both with Miami and Houston. I believe Miami's coming here. I think we are going to Houston. The Houston one, you know what? I'll take. I think that'll be great for sharpening Johnny Moe. Um, that offense, to me, I don't know what to expect from them this year. They lost Tank Dell. They traded Larry Tunsil. I mean, that offensive line was horrendous to begin with. I have no clue what to expect out of Houston. I'm honestly going to say they probably decline more than any other division winner, maybe. Offensive line, as we know here in Detroit, extremely important. The defense, though. I mean, D'Amico Ryans knows what he's doing on the defensive side of the ball. That's why he was spearheading the San Francisco 49ers for as long as he did after Rob Salah, who also knows to spearhead the defensive side of the ball. So I think that'd be more beneficial for Johnny Moe. Maybe guys like J-Mo as they're testing out newer roles, which Dan Campbell speaks on this as well. The other piece for that, for me, Miami Dolphins, that'll probably be more for Calvin Shepard. You get an offensive mind and Mike McDaniels for Calvin Shepard to exercise his mind against, and then you get a defensive mind, D'Amico Ryans for Johnny Moe to exercise his mind against. I think that's a phenomenal setup for the Detroit Lions in terms of their coaching. And yeah, there are players that need to, they need to develop and need to learn and stuff like that. I don't want to be disrespectful or dismissive of what these coaches have done in their past and other things I've said positive about them, but like, this is all an exercise for them too, and they need to get better as well. They need to sharpen their skills as well. Particularly Calvin Shepard, this will be his first time. I think preseason will be huge for him, getting to be in the with the headphones, calling the plays, whether he's on the field or up in the box. And Johnny Moe, same thing. I know he called plays before, and Dan Campbell will speak on that as well. But yeah, I love those joint practices, the way they're set up.
Obviously, assuming health with him, how confident are you about your pass rush? Even though you didn't add anything significant on the other side.
Yeah,
Dan Campbell on the pass rush, he's basically going to say he likes it.
Hutch looks good. I mean, he's moving well. You don't see him favoring anything. When he's bending, he's grabbing the grass. He looks confident. And there again, that's about pads. So there's nothing to tell me that, man, you guys not recovered are going to be recovered. As far as it deals with the pass rush, like yesterday, I'm glad you brought that up. So offensively, we kind of had this mid-cross. We had these two posts. We're trying to hit this deep shot, man, 34 yards to Laporta. It was awesome. And it took time, right? It takes time offensively to do that. And we did, because we had to do walkthrough with the front, all right, the O-line and D-line. So it's hard to tell. We can't go hard enough to decide how good the rush is, or how do we really prep it, get it better. We're not allowed to do that. So, but I am confident. Davenport, looks good. You know, there again, it's early too for him, and we're not in the physical nature of the game. We don't have pads on, but I like the guys we have in that room, and there again, training camp will make it right.
Dan, what kind of challenges does it present when you've got a
Yes, he did. Toe tapper, 34 yards.
you've got
Great throw.
a condensed schedule and so many new coaches primarily at the coordinator positions?
Just what is it? Yeah, it's challenging. I mean, it's a lot. You know, it's a lot. But there again, I think you know, for us, it's man. Let's take what we really know. You know, things that beauty of what we've done offensively is.
This is what he's talking about the new coaches real quick. I'll probably slow this one down for you guys. Let me fix it real quick. Boom.
We're really taking a lot of what we've been. You know, Johnny's done that. Things that we've really majored in the last 2 or 3 years. And there's things that I know that he wants to do that he's had a lot of success with that'll fit us perfectly. But man, it's just about, hey, we name this a little bit different. We tweak a couple of the formation names. But all in all, it's more about, you know, this is how I want it. This is my style of coaching. This is what I'm looking for. You know, Shep is it's the same thing. You know, we're trying to put a little bit more on these guys and give them more freedom in the defense by look. You know, and that requires guys being on it, man. That requires the players taking ownership in it and the communication to be, you know, on par. So it's challenging, but yet that's what this time of year is. And I can already tell you after 2 days going into day 3, man, it's already tightened up, you know, in a matter of days, which is awesome. I mean, guys getting on the same page and the coaching and
This real sidebar, real quick. He's just so great, and I genuinely, truly mean great at articulating things. I think this is what makes him such a great coach. Like, it's not the X's and O's, although I think he's undermined in that field or in that aspect for sure. But like, just his ability to articulate. I mean, even like the little like, I don't know. It just helps other people understand, you know, a situation like that. It makes it memorable because it was funny. He was goofy. Like we have a great coach in Dan Campbell. I love this guy.
um, and that's what you love, man. That's why I hired the coaches that I did, because I knew they would adapt quickly and be able to work together.
And I know you guys don't really care that much about what national perspective is, but you had mentioned coaching changes. Carlos mentioned the pass rush. You mentioned the schedule. Those 3 things are what people say, well, the Lions are going to take a step back. You probably heard that stuff. Do you?
This guy's fishing for a quote from Dan Campbell, and you'll see how it is how it's dealt with.
Your team use that as fuel at all?
I don't think we're not there yet as far as what do we take. I just know this. It's what I said. We're not going to look. Give us any nugget you need to. All right, it's all good. We'll take all of that. So give us every excuse, and we will use that, especially when the time is right. But we're not worried about. I'm not worried about that we don't have pass rush. I'm not worried about that we lost 2 coordinators. I'm not worried about the injuries. I'm not worried about the Hall of Fame game. I'm not worried about the schedule. I think it's perfect. I think it lines up perfect. I think it's going to be what's best for us with where we're at going into 2025. My 5th year here, the core of this team's 5th year. And I really think it's exactly what we're going to need. You know, the timing is perfect.
Yeah, guys, pretty much just fishing for like we don't care who it is. We're gonna line up and knock them down because we're Dan Campbell and the fighting kneecaps. God dang it! Pretty much what the guy's kind of looking to get, and Dan's gonna give you those. Just like it's a game by game situation. We're in OTAs, brother. Like, let's relax. You know, like I don't know, Dan. Yeah, I'm whatever. I'm not mad at him fishing for that quote, by the way, because Dan Campbell was a quote machine. There may be one coming. I don't know.
That aren't here that may not be totally happy with their contracts. Do you worry that anything will bleed over to the summer? Is there anything you have to do to massage that, or is that just for winning?
No,
This is mainly pertaining to Alex and Zaloni. He says contracts in plural. I believe it's Dave Burkett asking that question. I'm assuming the other name he's maybe talking about is maybe Hutch, but Hutch is there at OTAs. I mean, I don't know. I guess I don't know why you wouldn't just use the name Anzalone in that scenario. Unless it's a name I'm forgetting, comment it down below. I'd love to know because I can't assume who else would be holding on for contract right now. But it's Alex Anzalone who's asking about.
I think what's great is that man, any player that I talk to, like I have a relationship with, and there's an open line of communication, and so whatever I say to those players, I'm not going to say to you guys. I never will. But man, there's communication has been great. So I'm not. Listen, I'm not worried about anything. I know this. We're in late May. Is it even June yet? I don't even. All right, we're not even in June, so life's good, man. We're gonna be just fine.
It's been a while since John Morton called plays. How do you prepare him for that this time of year? Just kind of get him back in the flow of things.
This is important one. This is the one he's asking about Johnny Moe and him maybe being a little bit rusty and calling plays. And Dan Campbell, I think, had a phenomenal answer.
Well, hard to do this time of year. We don't have enough time to get it done. We don't have enough reps to get it done. We can't really do a true, I mean, we can't even, this isn't football. This is at least you can kind of line up across from each other and whatever. But training camp, it'll be big. That is one of the positives of 4 games. You're going to have 4 games to be able to do that. Just like I've done with AG and with Ben, man, we're going to do a ton of call it periods, a ton of move the ball, a ton of change the situation to where, man, you got to think on your feet immediately. We will, we'll make sure they get plenty of that to where, you just, as you go, you get better and you're better and better. And he's called plays before. And by the way, wherever he's been, I mean, he called, this is not his first time. The Jets is not his first time. I mean, even when he was here, man, I need it. It's 3rd and 12. I need to play. Bum, bum. He's the one who's yelling at here.
I thought that was very interesting. As a person who is championed Ben Johnson and saving that offense in 23, although obviously it wasn't much to save. Maybe he's even like 22. I mean, when did Campbell come? Was it 22? It might have been even. But either way, I've been championing Ben Johnson just because I've heard from the players, guys that I've spoke with that play on the team, that Ben was drawing a lot of stuff up behind the scenes, and Dan Campbell was calling the plays. But it sounds like they're in a big time moment, in a crucial situation, 3rd and 12. Like that's something you kind of need to convert, or like you need some little extra juice there. It sounds like Johnny Moe was the guy, if not one of the guys, who Dan Campbell was going to that situation. That's very interesting tell. And I love to hear that. That gives me a lot more confidence, Johnny Moe. Not that I lacked any. I think this offense is going to be smooth sailing either way. There's just so many good players, so many guys making strides in their development as players who are already good. If you're wondering who I'm talking about specifically, Sam Laporta, Jameson Williams. I'd even throw Jahmyr Gibbs in there too. I don't think we've seen the full ability of what he's going to be as a pass catching back. But all of it's going to be smooth either way. But as terms of play calling goes, something like this is got to get you some comfort for sure if we're non-believer or doubter.
Here you go. And he did that at San Fran. He's done that everywhere he's been. So, it'll be now. This is going to be something where everybody's going to be a little more involved in this in a good way. So the communication has got to be on point. But this is not his first time to do it. So, we'll be good.
The way last season ended with the defense and the injuries and everything else and the loss to Washington, how much of an honest assessment can you make about your defense when you have to factor in the injuries, but you don't want to miss something that needs to be corrected as well?
Man, I love the guys in that room. They play freaking hard. And, look, there's not a damn thing we can do about injuries. Nobody can. I mean, offensively, this could be the year, who knows? And we got to be ready to go offensively if that happens. And so defensively, man, we got plenty in there. I mean, we got cover guys. We got guys that can pressure the quarterback. We got LBs that can cover and rush, attack the run. We got safeties that are ball hawks and can play in the box. We got safeties that can play man-to-man on receivers in the slot or outside. I mean, we got some weapons. So I feel great about it. Now, we got to get through camp. And so I can't tell you anything after the OTAs. I just can't, but I'm not worried, And the things that you would worry about are the things every team's got to worry about: injuries. I mean, if we have another 20 injuries, yeah, I mean, that's an issue, but there's nothing I can do about it. There's nothing we can do about it other than when the time comes, we add depth, which we've tried to do, and we got to get those guys developed and ready to go.
I thought it was a fair question, but I mean, Dan Campbell, if you guys, the gist of that one, the Dan Campbell needs that one out. We got dogs in this room, and he is confident in their ability to execute their job. And no, although there are injuries and it does make it tough to evaluate what you really had in your defense still finished the season top 10, meaning they had elite performances in given moments and without everybody being there on the field. So, yeah, no, I got dogs in this defense. Like, when AG got this job, I tried telling him, I paraphrase. I mean, I was the founder of Defend the Glen. That was my phrase. All right, house patience. That was me holding it down. POP with Calvin Shepard. As much as I love him, as much as I'm a fan of his, um, I think I'm gonna have less patience with him because this defense is already decorated with good players. When AG got here, that wasn't the case. There's a lot of guys he either got as rookies, guys that have been like journeymen. They kind of had to develop, find. Uh, I don't know what word I was looking for. Refine, I should say, as journeymen, and then develop the rookies and so on and so forth. I think Spinny put it the best way a few years back is you were asking the AG to make a salad with spoiled vegetables. Well, now we don't have spoiled vegetables. Now we got fresh everything, and that's why I have a little bit less patience with Calvin Shepard. But I also have confidence that this defense will hit the ground running.
So if people worrying about the schedule, and you say you're not worried, do you kind of flip it, and will you flip it for your guys and say these contenders have to come in and play the Lions? They have to face us. Is that part of the messaging and the thought in your head?
Well, I think that you take each week as it comes, but certainly, yeah, I mean that's part of it, and we've gotten to where we've gotten because because we haven't been complacent, and we have gone and put the work in again, and done all the little things that you have to do to win games and win a division again, and so we got to do that all over again. And yeah, they do have to play us, but I just think the challenge of it is what you really love. It's why you love this game. The NFL. That's why it's at its best. I mean, to be able to not only here at home, our own division, go on the road. I mean, some of these teams, it's going to be. I mean, it's awesome, man. I mean, to me, by the end of the year, we ought to be just scarred up. We should be scarred up and ready to go, hardened for battle and ready for the playoffs. And there'll be nothing easy about it. Just to get through our own division is going to be brutal. So, but it's the right kind of brutal. So,
Love him.
yeah.
It's going to be a lot of guys that won't make the team that would have made the team in years past. So does that mean in preseason it's going to be like you're going to churn that bottom more for the games and the vets might not play as much?
Yeah, it's still early, but I mean, I think the thought right now is as much as we can and get some of these young guys reps, that's where we'll lean first. I'll never rule out playing the vets in the preseason, but right now my thought is kind of that is, hey man, let's see if we can get a number of some of these other guys reps and find out what we can about them. See if we can get them more plays to get developed, because that's all you're going to get with them. You can't. It's hard. You do your best you can. Every team does this time of year to develop. It's hard to develop right now. You can't play football. You can't do it. You got to go half speed. So that's really your best chance.
How did Jared process this?
Sorry, but dog was barking. They're gonna play the rookies. These 4 preseason games, 3 preseason games, however many games they are, they're gonna play the rookies. These vets need to chill a little bit.
Disappointment of the playoff loss and, this offseason with the change in coordinator, and how vital is he to that transition with the coordinator, and how much ownership do you feel he has of the offense at this point?
Yeah, Jared's a pro. He doesn't. I mean, it's like anything else. It's like when you lose or you don't play well, man. You assess what happened, what I need to do better. We all do, and then you put in the work. And so, I mean, that's behind him. Like he's. That's one of those where I wish 2 days after that you could go back to work, right? Because unfortunately you just can't in the playoffs, right? Tournament time. That's what happens. So he's like the rest of us. He's ready to go. He's put that behind him. It's about getting better. taking ownership a little bit more of the offense and of this team. And it's been a good transition. Been no problem. I think he and Johnny are going to work well together. They have worked well together. They've been working, this off season together, tweaking things. They, talk to each other, called one another, making sure that both were comfortable for what we were doing. And everything we do is always going to start with the quarterback, especially golf. So he's going to be fine.
It's probably one we could have skipped past, but I think got some juicy stuff coming up about Jameson Williams. You guys still rocking with me. By the way, smash the like button if you haven't already.
I think a number of times now, missing the playoffs, final game of the season, San Francisco, Washington. What do you want them to take from those experiences that can ultimately help them get to that final prize?
Well, I think, unfortunately, the more you play in big time games like that, you play in the tournament postseason, and you don't finish where you want to finish. That's when your eyes get really open to, man. Every time you get into the postseason, it's precious, man. It is precious, and you got to make the most of that opportunity, because you're not guaranteed for that to happen. You're just not. And sometimes you got to live that, And look, let's call it what it is. You got to play your best football that you've played all year, and things got to go your way too. Now, you'd like to believe that you can make things go your way most of the time if you play your style of football and you're on point. But sometimes you need things to fall in line, So the lesson of that is, man, you make the most of every moment that you got, and make sure that the young guys know. There's gonna be some young guys, we get back to where we want to go, that they think this is the way it's always going to be. Like that, this could be your only shot to get in, kids. So what are you going to do to help us win this and get to the next one, So, you learn each time.
What's the next?
He's the man. He's the man. I mean, I don't know how that one's pretty well translated right there. I don't know how I can break that down. This man wants to win a gosh dang Super Bowl, and I paused in a very ugly face. So I'm gonna resume real quick because it's getting something interesting with Jameson Williams.
Step look like for J-Mo?
What's now? Oh my God, he's got a ton of growth left, and he's had a good spring, and it's another one. I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves in OTAs, but I mean, there's so much versatility with him. There's so many things that we can do just with his routes on the outside. I mean, we can do things inside, but just with his speed, and he's gotten so much stronger. His ability to stop, put his foot in the ground, man. When you can run like he can run, and now you're beginning to where, man, you can stop on a dime. I mean, you talk about a hard cover. So the sky's the limit for him. He's exactly where we want him to be right now at this point, man. He's been here, he's grinding, he's getting better. Scotty's freaking grinding him. It's awesome. But we expect him to have a huge season. We really do, man. He's gonna be one of these guys that we're gonna lean on this year, and it is really gonna be big for us. And all he's got to do is just keep working like he's working, and we'll be good.
I couldn't help but to smile because we've said these things, we've discussed these things, and this very channel actually, Spencer and I have discussed evolution of Jameson Williams' game, and a lot of times, a lot of people come around and they're I don't know, for whatever reason, hating and calling you fanboys and stuff like that, and to hear that from Dan Campbell, the head coach. I mean, not even just to hear Dan Campbell praise him, but like to see the excitement he got in speaking about Jameson Williams. And this is the kind of things we said too. Like if you go and watch even last year when he hit his first 1,000-yard season, just over 1,001 yard, it was really all intermediate over the middle type of routes, right? And on a lot of it, J-Mo, I'm pretty sure averaged like some of the most yak in the league among qualified wide receivers. And obviously the big one against Chicago. I think he had a big one against Chicago. I think there was another big one he might have had too, where he just took it down the field. But still in the middle, there's so many more ways this man can eat. And I'm talking from screenplays we've seen him run, but I think he'll be better at that now. I mean, there's just so many more ways you've seen wide receivers be effective, and we pretty much saw JMO. I don't want to say dominate. That'd be taking a stretch, but do really well last year in one really specific way. And so I think now you're going to broaden that. Guys like Spinney are saying he may have more yards than Amon-Ra St. Brown, and talent level wise, I mean, you can't say it's not possible. You really can't. Jameson Williams, I mean, career year loading. I mean, he may force Brad Holmes to cash that check, write that check, because he's going to be balling out of his mind this year. And then, again, not just what Dan Campbell said, but excitement and saying it. Shout out to James Williams, man.
Those guys you mentioned, Spielman, Barry, and Kelvin, is there a timeline? Because you could sell a lot of jerseys.
That's tough to say. I think Spillman's going to be a little bit longer.
All right, guys, that is it. Breaking down the Dan Campbell press conference. My biggest takeaways, probably number one, Jameson Williams. Straight up. I wanted it to be something different. No, it's Jameson Williams. Number one is confirming everything that we've thought already about Jameson Williams' development. He's going to get even better than we saw this year. I remember back a while back, we even played on this show that he hasn't even begin to scratch the surface of what he can become. And we did that on a Brad Holmes video. Now we're hearing Dan Campbell say the same thing. And this Dan Campbell say he's stronger. He says he's fresher on a stop. Like, come on now. Number two for me would probably be the Johnny Moe stuff. I really appreciate hearing that for my own comfort. Not that I was stressing too much, but it makes you feel a little better. Number three, we got a lot of rookies, a lot of developmental pieces on this team, and we get to see them all in action this preseason. Straight up. And honestly, my number four is going to be Dan Campbell's excitement for the schedule. That probably should have been number three, but yeah. And that is it for me, breaking it down the Dan Campbell knees. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Let me know what part of the press conference you enjoyed most, what's got you most pumped up by the Detroit Lions this season, and what you want to talk about in the next video. Comment down below. But again, until next time, I'm Eazy. Welcome to Lions Nation Night.